All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going today? I hope you're doing well. My name is David, and welcome to the first episode of the Common Sense Commentary. So let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said, the name of this show is the Common Sense Commentary, and what this show is exactly that, a commentary on social, political, news, blah blah blah, anything basically that I have an opinion on. I'm just gonna put it out there. That's really what this is gonna be about. There's no topic that will be completely put off the table or disregarded. I may not have popular opinions, but they are my opinions, and the idea is not really to have everybody go, "Man, you're right." The idea is to have and encourage a discussion between people and thoughts on the issues that we have in this world today, especially here in America. But real quick, who am I? My name is David, as I said. I'm a 32-year-old married middle class dude. Grew up broke as hell in Mississippi with my family. Worked numerous jobs from the time I was about 11 years old till I was 23. Worked in construction, worked on farms, things of that nature. I'll go ahead and tell you, did not graduate high school. All I got is a GED. After I worked all those odd jobs, though, however, I decided I was going to join the military. And I did 9.5 years with them. And got out just because it was time to move on. Personal growth, things of that nature. It is what it is. It's just one of those things. You're going to hear some clacking in the background today, and I apologize for that, but I want to go ahead and get this recorded, and I don't want to keep putting it off. And I'm doing laundry right now because where I have my computer set up and all of my stuff is in my basement at our house, and the laundry room is right next door. But such is life. Anyway, yeah. So, like I said, my name's David. Gave you the age, kind of a little work history, educational history. About the only thing I've done outside of that GED was taking a college psychology class many moons ago, but it was an interesting class. I took it because I actually like psychology and find it interesting. And I didn't feel like I was pissing in the wind doing something that I really wouldn't enjoy, as opposed to the way I feel about most formal education, but that's something to think about for another day. So anyway, yet again, back to it. What's this show? Kind of already ran over that, but we're going to re-attack it anyway. This is my thoughts and opinions on political, social, the media, my opinions on the way things are handled by the media. Oh God, that's yet again a whole nother story. But it's just my opinions. It is what it is. I try to ground my thoughts in logic and using logic for the topics I discuss. Remove the emotion, so to speak. Now, not completely, because I'm doing this, so clearly I'm passionate about discussing these issues. But just try to take a cold, hard, factual look at it, and that's where my passion comes in. Is looking at something and trying to see past the bullshit and get to the real issue and talk about that, not the fucking window dressing that makes it a sensationalized topic, or takes it and turns it into something, turns a conversation into something that it was never intended to be. When you're watching this, you're going to hear some foul language. I'm not going to lie to you. I cuss like a sailor. I work construction, as I said. Did a lot of time in the military, and I was a maintenance troop. And that's just that. You also see me dipping back, and you'll notice that I have a strong southern accent. The problem with those two things is it kind of leads to a misconception about me, or a profiling, if you will, that because I sound the way I do and because I chew tobacco and all this other good stuff, that probably there's that I have some inclination to not like minorities, things of that nature. That's just, unfortunately, the natural assumption in today's world. Doesn't mean it's right, but that is the natural assumption. But it is what it is. Another reason I'm doing this thing that this show is about, yet again, is real discussion. logical discussion of real topics. And getting past the idea that you can't actually talk about something without hurting someone's feelings. When I say getting past that, I mean just fucking crashing into it and say, you know what, fucking your feelings are going to have to wait. If you want to talk about this shit, then you need to remove yourself a little bit. Take that, oh fucking woe is me, or whatever it is, or yada 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 that you got on down the damn road, and sing that fucking song to somebody who cares, because that guy ain't me. In the sense of going, well, you shouldn't say that because it hurts my feelings. I don't know if y'all remember the fucking old adage that the truth hurts, but let me tell you what, that shit's around for a reason. There's a motherfucking reason it's existed for as long as it has, and that's because the truth ain't always goddamn pretty. And that's just life. You're never going to get away from that. That's all you can do is accept it for what it is. If the baby's ugly, the fucking baby's ugly. There you go. That's a better way to put it. Another thing, differing opinions. If my opinion differs from yours, that does not mean I fucking hate you. It means I disagree with you. And for some reason in today's society, it seems that disagreeing with someone equates to the idea of you fucking hate them, or on a personal level, you don't like them, or something of that nature, which fucking completely ass backwards. The whole idea there's just, it's an easy cop out to a discussion you're having with someone who doesn't agree with you. Instead of being willing to accurately defend your points, you just, I say you, people make the decision to go, well, you know what, you don't agree with me, so therefore you must fucking hate me and the ideas I stand for, as opposed to I simply disagree, and it doesn't mean I hate you, but it doesn't mean I gotta kiss your ass and say, man, let me march to that fucking company line today, because that shit's where it's at. Bunch of happy horse shit. Last but not least on the show, I guess, is topics. Taboo topics. I don't have those. I don't find talking about fucking race. I don't find talking about fucking politics. I don't find talking about religion or sex or any of those kind of standard issue like, ooh, fucking don't touch it shits. I don't have those. I don't agree with it. There should be no subject that's taboo. Now, do I agree that you must speak carefully and word yourself wisely when talking about certain things? Yes. Do I think that's horse shit? Yes. Will I actually do that? Probably not. I probably will not fucking filter myself. Now, you're not going to hear me fucking slinging around slurs of any sort, because that's not who I am. I don't want to do that because it's stupid. I just prefer to make the grand statement that there are shitty people in all races, as it were. White, black, green, brown, purple. On the one side, you have the people that everybody's like, hey, that's a fucking cool dude. And then on the other side, you have the people that everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's generally about as far into racist as I get, I guess. And I guess I just hate everyone equally when they deserve to be on the fucking shit side of the line. That's probably the best way to put it. So that's what the show is. Yet again, short summary. My fucking opinions, my unbridled opinions, and my thoughts on what's going on for whatever day I'm broadcasting that I want to talk about. That's what you're going to get when you come here. And the intent of the show, at the end of the day, regardless of whether you agree with me or you disagree with me or you don't really fucking have an opinion, is to maybe give you an opinion or just to inspire discussion based on what your opinion is or why my opinion's wrong. I want to hear all sides of it. If you agree with me, fucking great. If you don't agree with me, that's fucking great too. You know why that makes me happy? That you express that you don't agree with me, because I hope this is going to be a discussion. I hope people are going to leave comments, have their own things to say about what's going on with this. I hope that happens, because in all honesty, I want this to be a discussion. I don't want it to be like, oh, there's that fucking talking head redneck on the goddamn, on the YouTubes over yonder. He's running off the mouth again about some shit here and there and everywhere, yada, 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 yada. That's not what I want. I want it to be a discussion. Like, I want to fucking hear your opinions too. You put them in the comment section, I'll read them. I won't guarantee you I'll be able to reply to them every day or right when they happen, but by damn, I will talk about them. But that's what I want. I want to inspire discussion. I want people to talk about real shit. Who gives a flying fuck about Kim Kardashian getting robbed? Like, that shit is fucking bullshit news, and for some reason people were like, oh my god, fucking a millionaire got robbed. Yeah, fuck, it sucks. Boo-hoo. Her getting robbed is no different than fucking anybody else in the world getting robbed. She just has so much goddamn money that everybody seems to care, and for some reason they're all up her and Kanye's ass. Who fucking knows why? It's that whole fucking fame obsession thing, I guess. But whatever. Like, shit like that, that's... I'll probably talk about things like that, but more toward the direction of, like, why is that important? Why do people consider that to be news? I mean, that'll be the kind of reasons we talk about shit like that, or like Harambe, or whatever fucking hot social trend comes across the board where people are just rattling off about something stupid. That's about as best as I can express my feelings on things like that. But anyway, if you've made it this far in and you've listened to me ramble on about this and about that, welcome to the show. And we're about to actually get into the show. Now, I didn't go into great detail looking things up, and I don't intend to probably for any of my shows yet. Again, I'm giving you my opinion. Fucking call me if I'm wrong. I ain't going to quote statistics. I'm just going to talk about common sense, like a common sense perception again. And today the thing we're going to talk about is justice in America. I just want to start there. You know why? Because with all the fucking racial tension and shit like that's been building, and to talk about injustice for, we'll just say it, injustice for young black men when it comes to the police and police brutality and things like that. That shit's a fucking hot button, hot topic button. It is a hot one. There's no way to get around it. And to start, I apologize for saying so much. Spurs go at this, so I'm gonna get used to it. I can fucking ramble forever, but I gotta get used to it. So justice these days, it's an interesting thing, right? So our perceived notion of justice, and we're talking about justice in the legal system, American justice, all right, as defined by the courts, means that you're arrested or convicted of a crime, or not convicted, you're arrested for a crime, you're being charged. So you go to jail, whatever it is, you stay at home on bail, you're arraigned, you hang out, we go to trial, go in, sit down, defense presents their case and evidence, prosecution presents their case and their evidence, and a jury of 12 people who somehow in this day and age have not heard about the shit that is going on in this courtroom sit there and they listen to the arguments made by the lawyers for and against the accused party. At the end of all this, I know it's crazy to explain this, but yet again, common sense. After that, the jury goes and they do this thing where they deliberate and they talk about shit that's going on. And they come back and they have one of 3 outcomes that they can have. And one person will be the speaker, more or less, for the jury. This is real simplified. And they'll present their verdict. Now, there's 3 ways this can go. 3 of them. Okay? Uno, dos, tres. Number 1, guilty. Number 2, not guilty. Number 3, guys, hung jury. Now, those are the 3 super simple ways the trial can turn out. One of those 3 things will occur in most cases, unless there's like a mistrial or something of that nature. And at the end of that whole set of shenanigans, as it were, we're supposed to go, okay, justice has been served in accordance with the legal system. Now, the real talk about that is, unfortunately, the legal system, just like any other system of government, it's not infallible. There's corruption on multiple sides, not just corruption on the side of those who serve the legal system. No. But on the side of those who are outside the law as well. There are trials where people who serve the system are wrongly convicted. There are trials where those who are outside the system are wrongly convicted, and vice versa. There are people that suffer injustice in the courtroom every day, just like there are people who feel that they are vindicated and they got justice. But the problem is, people won't accept the justice that was dealt out in the courtroom. They won't accept what was dealt out in the courtroom. Instead, if the outcome is not in line with what they wanted it to be, well, then clearly justice was not served. Now, we have an appeals process for that, which is fair enough, part of the legal system. It is what it is. You can appeal all day long, convicted, guilty, or for the people that were trying to get them prosecuted, you can appeal the conviction or the findings of the jury as well. You can do that shit. There's appeal processes in place. But that's legal justice. Now, moral justice is saying, well, I know this motherfucker did some shit wrong, and you know what? We need to get his little red wagon back in the row. That's really all there is to it. But the problem is what people seek today in society in America is not legal justice, which is the right course of action in the sense of saying, okay, you know what? I got to accept this. Instead of wanting that, they don't even really want moral justice. What they're really after is revenge for a wrong that they feel that they've been done. And in today's super interconnected society, shit spreads like wildfire. So you have everyone coming out to woodworks to say whatever they have to say about it. Whatever it is, whether they be white, black, green, fucking brown. Everybody has an opinion on it, and they spread it real quick. The biggest issue with that is the way that the expression of, or way that it is expressed, that people don't feel justice. Now, peaceful protest, fuck, good to go. You know what? All day long. That's legit. Peaceful protests are acceptable. Should be acceptable. Should not be a question in the sun. If somebody's fucking peacefully protesting, then you know what? You leave them fuck alone. You got no dog in the race other than to go there and you make sure shit don't get fucking violent. That's what your job is when you're on the side of the law. As long as their shit's in order, cool. You leave them be. The problem is the rash of violent, well, not even violent protesters, no. Because I'm not going to put that on the people that are actually there protesting in a capacity that's acceptable within our laws. It's when some fucking idiots show up and decide that, well, instead of a peaceful protest and trying to raise awareness of the issue, whether I personally agree with the issue that they're supporting or not, it's the fact that they show up and they do it the way they want, the right way. And then some fucking asshole shows up and he's like, I'm going to throw a rock at a cop, or I'm going to do some fucking bullshit. And you know what? We're talking about this stuff mainly with the race-related issues right now. All right, that's fucking it. There's no need to hide it. We're talking about this with like Black Lives Matter. The legit people with Black Lives Matter who are peaceful protesters, yet again, don't necessarily agree with their opinion, but they have their fucking people that are out there and they're doing it right. Like, they're peacefully protesting. They're not fucking trying to stir shit up. They don't want They don't want to challenge authority in a physical manner. They just want to get out there and have the fucking voices heard, and that is fair enough. That is what's up. But it's those fucking idiots that show up there and find themselves intermingled with the peaceful protesters, and instead of being a peaceful protester, what they turn out to be is some dickhead that wants to start a fucking riot. And then you get all this shit where there's destruction and mayhem, and instead of seeking justice, in my opinion, those guys are seeking revenge. And unfortunately, the ones that are feeling like they're seeking justice, even though justice has been served by what the fucking legal system deems as justice, those other people are out there looking for revenge. They're looking to fucking break something. They're looking to take it down. And it's just fucking wrong. God, I'm going off the rails. I apologize yet again. It's the first time I'm doing this. I can't do scripted. I've tried. That shit doesn't work. I even tried like loose outlines. All I can really do is start talking about a fucking issue and kind of roll with it. But, Black Lives Matter, like you have the peaceful protesters, and yet again, you got the fucking people come out, and instead of going, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to protest and whatnot in the right way, regardless of whether I agree with the protesting, they decide to start getting stupid. That's fucking the best way to put it. They decide to start getting stupid. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They decide to go fucking retarded. And those people aren't looking for justice. They're looking for revenge. And yet again, at the end of the day, they're looking for revenge on something where justice has already been served as far as our legal system is concerned. And the even bigger question there is, at what point do you have to accept something that, while you may not agree with it and you may feel it's wrong, at what point with justice in question, and this yet again is directed at this because unfortunately the fucking race debate has become this huge issue in the U.S. in like the past 5 years, like this fucking heavily debated issue. And with that, with all these discussions about the injustices within the justice system, I know we have these cases with Michael Brown and fucking all these other cats. You know what? Some of them probably were officers were in the wrong. I ain't denying that shit in the least. I apologize to you. I don't know their fucking names yet. Again, this is just my opinion. It's off the top of my head. We have those cats. And there are times when I'm sure some of those cats were not in the wrong. No question about it. I ain't even going to defend it and say, oh, the fucking cops are 100% right 100% of the time, because that's horse shit, and that's the kind of blind faith that gets you fucked in general. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you just put all your trust in there and you're like, oh, the government's infallible, they'll never fuck up, you're an idiot. And you should probably go get your fucking head examined. Yeah, hardcore. That's some real talk. However, I can't stand behind the idea that every time that one of these dudes that was in one of these shootings was found innocent of his charges, I can't be like, well, you know what? I think the system's corrupt. He really was guilty. Now, I'll give you 50. We'll split it 50-50. 50% they were innocent, 50% they were guilty. But the idea that every fucking time this has happened, that a young black man has been shot by a police officer and he happened to be fucking white, it was all based on the color of his skin as opposed to what the fuck was happening in the moment, is a bunch of happy horse shit. And just the same as I said, if you live in the ideal that the police are infallible, you need to get your head checked. If you live in the fucking world where every fucking police officer that shot someone in the line of duty that's a different race than them is clearly a fucking racist, and they're not exercising their exercising the proper use of the force there, then you're a fucking idiot as well. Because to make those two assumptions is just very stupid on both sides. Number one, they're people, they're infallible. Number two, they're people, and not all people are fucking the same. So, to throw a blanket out there and say that, oh, it's all based on fucking race, it's all because he was a white cop, he was a black kid, is fucking silly. And it was an injustice that he didn't get convicted. Like I said, 50-50, I'll give you that. 50% of the time, you know what, I'll give you that. It may be higher, it may be lower, but in my opinion, 50% of those, you know what, maybe right. Hell, we'll go 60-40, 60% of the time. There may have been an injustice, but there was another 40% that it wasn't. And we can't get out here and have motherfucking... We can't say that the system's fouled up every time that a fucking cat that happens to be white that shot a black kid is not convicted. You can't fucking say that. That's just stupid. That's just... It's not thinking. It's not using this. Because if you use this, and you have to step back and you have to take a look and be like, yes, this is a fucked up situation. This is a young person whose life was ended. But at some point, the motherfucker has to be accountable for his actions. And it don't matter if they are white or they're black or green or fucking brown. Accountability for your actions is something that's heavily missing in all that. You know, to say it's an injustice because they were shot, well, you weren't fucking there. And unfortunately, even with body cam footage and shit like that, that still doesn't make it 100% fucking... You're going to catch the people that are doing shady shit. You're going to catch the ones that are doing it right. And part of the reason this whole injustice fucking agenda is being pushed is because the media sees it and they're like, you know what, that shit's hot right now. Let's fucking spin it to the best way to get fucking eyes on the TV. Let's not really step back, hold off, make sure we got all the motherfucking facts. Like, let's put out the quickest story we can. What's gonna get them views? Alright, black kid, white cop. Boom. We know those two things. Doesn't matter fucking male, female, whatever. Black and white. Black and white. As soon as black and white's brought up, that's going to get fucking eyes on the TV, number one. Now, it's going to get 2 sets, 3 sets, various opinions. You're going to have number one, black people who look at it and they see a fucking injustice. You're going to have number 2, white people who look at it and they see fucking like, oh, good to go, another criminal off the street. And then you're going to have the motherfucking people that sit back and look at it like me and they're like, oh, great, another fucking story in the media. Another pocket full of presumptions about everything that happened there that the media has kind of come up with, and a way to frame this argument that makes it look like fucking it's immediately the cop was in the wrong and he should have never fucking did what he did. I'd say those are your 3 big groups of people. Those 3. Injustice, fucking justified, and then the rest of us that want to see fucking more information and shit before we start even making assumptions. And I think that 3rd group is by far the best group to listen to. Number one, reason being is because they don't go, holy shit, black and white, fucking gotta be down for fucking whatever pigment I'm walking around with. Instead, they go, you know what, I'm gonna hold off. I'm going to take a look at more facts as they develop because I don't trust the media, and numerous other people don't trust the media because the media is trying to market whatever's going to get the most people to watch the show, watch the news or their channel at that point. If you go to CNN, it's fucking outrage, liberal, blah, blah, blah. If you go to Fox, it's fucking justified. And it's outrageous that we're questioning them, whatever fucking right-wing, conservative, super fucking politics they're preaching. And unfortunately, there is really no middle ground media outlet. There's no like, let's hold up for just a moment and see what's going on here. That's it. You get the motherfucking, you get the Bloods and the Crips. Republicans and the Democrats. That's the shit you get when it comes to fucking talking about all these stories. But back to it, all that shit contributes to the idea that an injustice has been done or that justice has not been served because the initial report set a seed in someone's mind. It's kind of like the idea that I heard quite a few years ago where fucking people look at you, they see the car you drive, and they automatically make an assumption about you just based on the vehicle that you're driving the first time they see you. That plays into their psyche. And in the same fashion, the first time you hear about a story on the fucking media, and they always sell it and package it the same way, is black, white. That's the 2 fucking things that they target. Black, white. not a cop shot an unarmed man, which would do less to put the seed in your head already that, all right, well, this isn't an issue of is the cop right or wrong. It's an issue of was the cop a racist or not. Those are two separate issues. Was the cop right or wrong is the first thing we need to go into. If they find out he was wrong, you know what, then you further explore, well, did he do this because he was racist? Or just because he was fucked up? But the first question should never be like, was it because he was white and the kid was black? The first fucking question should be, was this justified or not? And that's where we get back into the problems of justice, because that plants a seed immediately that this may have been a race-related issue as opposed to just a straight-up fucking negligent cop issue. And that's my big issue, is the fact that we skip around all that. We have the media fucking going ahead, planting that seed. It's a race issue. So then when the shit goes to trial, goes through all those other steps, which are part of our justice system, after the fact, we come back to it and the cop's found guilty, well, then nobody really raises an uproar. There's not a lot of shit or whatever. If the police are found guilty, and I know there have been crimes, by the way, there have been police shootings where it was a black officer shooting a black person. Not taking that away at all, but unfortunately the big topic right now, yet again, is white and black. It's white and black. Somehow, in 2016, we took a trip back to like fucking 1956 with our goddamn race relations. According to the way shit is framed now, like we have our first two-term black president in office. Numerous prosperous black individuals, or minority individuals. We have numerous minority individuals in key positions in government, successfully running their own businesses. All this good shit. We have integrated schools and communities and all this stuff. But somehow, injustice is still there, and fucking minority groups are getting fucked over in the courts and all this good stuff. And it all comes back to a confusion of justice. But anyway, so if the cop gets fucking convicted, good deal, whatever. If the cop don't get convicted, well, then we're going to have a march. And we're going to have a march every time. It's not going to be selective and like, oh, this case was a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's got to be fucking this or this. There's going to be a march, and clearly justice wasn't served because this motherfucker was guilty, and we all know it. It's like, what? How the fuck? My question is, how the fuck do you know that? That's the biggest question. Like, how the fuck do you know that person is absolutely guilty? Like, what? For you, as somebody standing outside reading the shit that's been filtered down through the newspaper or fucking the media, whether it be CNN or Fox or BBC or fucking whomever, how the fuck are you so goddamn sure that an injustice has been committed if that dude don't get fucking convicted? So that's one side of the whole injustice thing. And then more shit that we talk about with the justice system is fucking harsher penalties for minorities. Now, I will not deny that. I won't even tell you that I think that's right. I won't, because I don't think that it's correct. However, I watched a video many moons ago about this fucking cat. This younger black dude, he's probably in his 20s, mid-20s, who made a very bold statement, and it was probably unpopular as fuck because it was true. Now, justice-wise, did you commit a crime? Okay, so you are a person that committed a crime, and you were convicted. So now you're convicted. Well, yeah, you did get a longer sentence than fucking what a white dude may have, and that is wrong, hands down. Key points, that fucking retard rapist that somehow got 6 months from that dick-faced judge. over an I can't believe this shit happened USA versus other people. That's not a problem with the justice system, though. That's a problem with one judge in particular, the fucking idiot. And that kid's father is even more ignorant, because if he was my kid, the day that he got out of jail, he may have been grown, but I'd have whooped his ass in my front fucking yard the day he showed back up at my house, and he wouldn't have had a home to come stay at. Not after pulling some shit like that. I wouldn't have been like, oh, it was only 20 minutes. Fuck that. As a good parent, you should have beat the shit out of him right there and be like, you can take me to jail. I'm guilty. Assault. I'll go. Give me a fine. I'll pay it. Do some community service. Maybe. Stuff of that nature. But in general, sentences do come down harsher on minorities. But yet again, the question at the end of the day is, so you went to jail, you went to court, you were convicted, and you were actually guilty of the crime. You were guilty. Like, you were fucking doing whatever the fuck they said you were doing. As a person, looking at it logically, just because you got a harsher sentence, is it an injustice that you were convicted? And the short answer to that is no. Because you committed a fucking crime. You got caught. That evidence to prove it. So it's not an injustice that you went to prison. It's fucked up that you may be going to prison longer, but your ass was still guilty. That's just life. If you're fucking guilty, you're guilty. You ain't gonna get around that fact, so to speak. So, it's fucked up that you might get a longer sentence, but it ain't fucked up that you got found guilty. And you didn't get found guilty because you were fucking a minority or whomever. You got found guilty because they had proof of the shit you did. And yet again, the sentencing to me is not related to the justice served in that courtroom by saying you're going to prison for this or that for this long, and it's a harsher sentence than this guy would have gotten. You both got convicted and you're both going to jail. It's just fucked up that perhaps it's going to be harsher on you. But then again, when we get to talking about the shit where it goes, well, justice is served more harshly to minorities than it is to fucking white people. That's more of the crimes they're sentencing. And that's just real talk too. It's just truth, I guess, so to speak. There are crimes that are more often committed. Unfortunately, it's true. There are crimes that are more prevalent within a black community as opposed to a white one. And you can't get away from that. It's unfortunately true. And if you listen to people talk, the same cat that was talking about, like, if you committed a crime, who gives a fuck if you get more time in a pen than the dude that's a different pigment from you sitting next to you. He's like, did you commit a fucking crime? And he's exactly right in that regard. And another thing is, like, culture, the culture of, like, fucking don't snitch and don't tell, don't talk to the cops and all this shit. How does that contribute to justice? Because on the one hand, it's fucked up. People are getting sentenced to longer stretches based on the fact that they're black, and there's problems with crime in the neighborhoods and all this shit, but nobody wants to talk to the fucking police and tell them anything to crack down on that. Oh, it's just a fucked up can of worms, and I apologize, I'm going off topic again. Just back to it. Fucking longer sentencing does not equate to injustice as far as justice in the sense of going to court, getting found guilty or innocent. That equates to a fucked up set of rules that was put in place in a different day and a different time, one could argue. But on the same token, a person could argue is it's the crimes that these harsher penalties are in place for. And to say that, oh, it's because it's a minority thing is wrong, because if a white person is caught, and here's the funny part, yet again with that whole justice deal, right? So fucking say like a drug crime has a harsher penalty than fucking getting in a bar fight. Alright, cool. So we'll take fucking John Q white dude and John G black dude, and they both go in and they get in a bar fight. Odds are they're probably gonna both get the same shit. You know, fucking assault or whatever, if they get arrested. Then we take John Q white guy and John G fucking black dude, and they both get arrested for fucking something with drugs. Well, at the end of the day, surprise, surprise, even though that's, it comes down on minorities, which it does, they both get the same fucking sentence out of it if they're found guilty, for the most part. The minimum sentencing is really what people are talking about. And last I checked, there was nothing attached to any fucking crime that said if you're black or if you're white or if you're Hispanic or Asian or fucking whatever. There's nothing attached to a crime that's like, if you're fucking this race, then the minimum sentencing is gonna change for you. I ain't seen that shit yet. And that's just real talk. Unfortunately, it does pan out that way, but that's because of crimes that are committed within those communities, and it's still not necessarily injustice that minimum sentencing is higher on X, Y, and Z crimes as opposed to A, B, and C crimes. It just comes down that, unfortunately, realistically speaking, some of those crimes have a tendency to happen in certain types of neighborhoods, and it ain't even necessarily a racially divided neighborhood as opposed to an economically divided neighborhood. But at the end of the day, wherever that neighborhood fucking is, the sentence is the same for the crime. There's just a propensity within the races involved, I guess. I don't know how to fucking properly state my argument. And I know what this makes me sound like. It makes me sound like, yet again, the presumed thing, which is, oh, fucking white guy from the South, he's racist. That's not how I'm trying to come across. Yet again, logic is where I'm going. Minimum sentencing does not equate to racism. It equates to fucking the people convicted of the crimes. Yes, minorities may be more involved in those crimes, but fucking non-minority groups can fucking be convicted and sentenced to the same minimum sentence without regard for their skin color. I mean, that's that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's just logically looking at it. That's not emotionally charged. Outside of me, yet again, having a passion for a logical look at it. That's not emotionally charged or any of that, or fucking like, oh, I'm standing up for my race. I'm standing up for logic, man. And logically speaking, that's just fucking real talk with that kind of stuff. It's minimum sentencing. Happens to be where the crimes are more prevalent. Again, I told you, I ain't going to quote you graphs. I ain't going to quote you charts. I ain't going to quote you any of that shit. I'm going to give you my opinion based on reading. Yeah, I don't want to cite all that. It's just my opinion I formed myself, and it's the one I want to share. So, back to it, and we're going to go into closing here because I've rambled. And these first few episodes are going to be kind of rough, and they may not draw that many viewers, but they'll strike a chord eventually. When it comes down to the idea of justice in America, justice is going to that day in court, sitting down, or your multiple days in court, with a jury of your peers, having your case heard as presented by the prosecutor and the defense, while the judge listens to it, then the jury deliberates, and they decide whether you're guilty or you're innocent. And that's that. That's justice as defined by me and in common sense terms. Regardless of the outcome being fucking right or wrong, justice was served because they went to court, they served it up. Or they did their piece with the justice system. And then as far as sentencing is concerned and where that comes into play with justice in America, the sentencing is not unjust, because minimum sentencing is the minimum sentence for that particular crime, and it don't matter what color you are when you commit that shit. That's just real talk. It don't say nothing in there about what color you are. Unfortunately, the crimes that the minimum sentencing is higher on tend to happen more in minority majority places, and that's real talk. Does it suck? Yeah. Is it fucking legit because that's the minimum sentence across the board? Yeah. But that's going to do it for this episode. So hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all like listening to my thoughts, and hope you look forward to hearing the next one. Take care.